Welcome to the Notorious Scoundrels, a Star Wars Legion podcast bringing you the latest news, general perspective, and competitive discussion.
Hello and welcome back to the Notorious Scoundrels podcast. I'm Kyle. I'm here with Mike and David and Zach, and we're on video this week because it is our 100th episode.
Woo! Yeah. 100 episodes.
Can you guys
100 episodes, and you still have to think through that drop or that first introduction. You still have to remember who the heck I am.
Hey, he didn't ask us how we were doing today, so I consider that a win.
That's also true.
That's true.
See,
that's because I had a topic at the open.
I was going to say, or that's exactly why it takes him a little bit to intro, because he's trying to make sure, wait, do I do this to Mike this week or do I not do this to Mike this week?
Oh, I see.
That's true. Yeah. Actually, we have a lot to talk about. We're going to kick off a Scoundrels sort of internal campaign thing that we're doing here just between the four of us with a map and everything. It's super fancy that Mike came up with. Should be pretty fun.
Yeah, it's up on the screen right now.
Okay, yep. We're going to use the map from Rebellion. Star Wars Rebellion, awesome board game for those that haven't played it. Probably my favorite Star Wars board game. Legion being a minis game, of course, so not competing with each other. Just had to clarify that.
Nice.
Yeah, we're going to use this map. Mike's going to explain how it works when we get to that. But we got some news items also, so let's talk about those first.
Welcome to In the News.
Oh, we're not on Zencaster, so we can't do drops. That's right.
Well, there will be drops. I'm going to put a drop in there.
Okay.
That's cool.
All right.
And
I was going to just do it myself.
Housekeeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Housekeeping. Patreon. Check out our Patreon if you want to support everything that we do and have been doing. thefifthgrouper.com/Patreon. Yeah. All right. That was housekeeping. News.
Now he's not leaving any gaps.
Moving on.
Bam. News. Plow straight through. You guys get your ARCs and BX droids?
No.
Like you actually didn't get them. Like you don't have them.
No.
Oh boy.
Did you not order them and didn't get them, or did you order them?
I didn't order them in time, I think.
Okay. Because there are lots of people, unfortunately, that actually pre-order them in advance in their local game stores. And, didn't get them.
Ah, suckers.
Oh,
I don't know
brutal.
about that. It's kind of feels
Oh,
bad.
man. All right. It's bad out there.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'll put in perspective. My store pre-ordered 16. It got 4.
Oof.
Okay. I'm good friends with Kodak on the Discord, Rich O'Brien. He went to 5 different stores in Massachusetts. They got a total of 0. I went to 3 other stores in New Hampshire to look around with him. They got a total of 0. We finally found a store that posted a picture in a small town in Massachusetts of ARC troopers. Now, we couldn't tell how many boxes they had. So I sent him a picture on Friday night. I'm like, listen, there's a pizza place there that opens at 11:30. My wife's a pizza fan. As you know, I've got 2 kids, so I got to kind of like, I gotta make a ploy here. I got to make a plan that suits my family. So I say, hey, honey, can I go get some pizza and also go get some, ARC troopers? But I need to go early and get there when the store opens. I got there at 11:15. The store opened at 11. They had no ARC troopers left. And they were not open Friday night. So whether they had only a few in stock, I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, I was on the hunt for ARCs all weekend. My store, out of the 4 that they got, they were willing to sell me all 3. I only took 2, and I felt bad taking 2. I said, here, I'm not taking 3 of the 4. That's insane. I'll take 2. I didn't even feel good about taking the 2, but I did. I mean, I do, but I don't. And the hunt continued. Anniversary dinner yesterday with the wife. I'm like, honey, there's a hole in the wall store. Do you mind if we stop in? This. I'm not kidding. This is real life. no ARC troopers. So yes, Kyle, you're laughing. Anniversary dinner, I get it. And I haven't even been going out at all because of all the things going on in the world. But I was like, honey, hole in the wall store. Let me just try. And she was supportive, and I came out with nothing. So again, just to say that things are looking weird out there, but it's a strange feeling to like be hunting product like this.
Yeah, like a couple days after their release.
Yeah,
it's not like Phase 2's, which sold out after like a week. But at least in that case, people that pre-ordered the product got the product.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Bad news, Bear Cubs. I got the last two ARC boxes at our store after suffering through potentially death. It was scary. It rained real bad that day. And
it sounds harrowing.
So I don't know. Are you familiar with the Georgetown Pike?
Oh yes, I live in the same area as you.
So I normally take the highway to our store, but I'm like super concerned with all the COVID stuff going on, and I don't have an easy pass, so I wasn't about to go through the toll booths. So I took the back roads, and I took Georgetown Pike, like the swervy portion of it.
Yeah, the fun portion where you feel like you're in a car commercial because the leaves are like rolling behind your car and there's all these trees and stuff.
Yeah, so I have never taken the Georgetown Pike before, and I was going like 40 miles an hour, and like those turns that are like, hey, you should go 20 miles an hour, but nobody ever goes 20 miles an hour because it's just a yellow sign. It's not a real rule, right? Yeah, so I was like taking the turn to go get my ARC troopers, and like halfway through the turn I realized it was like way sharper than I was correcting for presently. So I had to like smash the wheel a little bit, and I corrected, but my back tires decided to continue correcting for me. So yeah, I did a little bit of fishtailing, and the cars behind me stopped, and the cars in front of me stopped, and I straightened out, and it was okay. But it was almost up and over the ravine for me getting my ARC troopers. So that was it was a little scary, but it's one of those things where you like come out of it, you take a breath, and you're like, you know what, I'm all right. Let's keep going. I don't know. So that was my experience with ARC troopers.
I'm just glad you're okay, dude.
Thanks.
That sounds terrifying. Like a rear wheel skid like that in the rain is no bueno.
Yeah, it was. I think part of it is I haven't driven a ton lately. So
There's no reason to, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's inside with COVID.
I mean, like I leave the house once a day to like take my buddy to work, but it's basically just a highway. I'm not like driving back road ziggy zag stuff. And this was pretty, and it was super slippery out. So, in any case, I got 2 ARC troopers. I bought like $300 worth of stuff, but
retail therapy.
Yeah. I left with a Trade Federation battle tank that I told myself I was never gonna buy. I left with BX Commando droids. I left with Cassian Andor. What else did I get? Oh, I picked up Vital Assets because I haven't been able to find that in any stores because I didn't pre-order it. So that was a real win. I showed up and they had like 6 Vital Assets on the shelves, and I was like, thank God. I've been looking for this for like 4 months. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that you A, got ARC troopers, and B, didn't die.
Yeah, me too.
I like how Kyle put the ARCs as A.
Well,
yeah. I mean,
those strike teams are pretty important these days.
So there have been, they don't typically comment on logistics issues, so we wouldn't necessarily expect FFG to say anything, but I guess there's been a rumor going around about some kind of water damage situation. I don't know if that's true. Maybe water damage means a container fell into the ocean. That would be a form of water damage that's actually happened in the past. to, I think, Brazil.
Kyle over here is like a crime scene analyst. He's like, so let me tell you, if it fell in the water, it's got water damage. That would be a valid form of water damage.
Yes.
Laying out the case for the defense here.
Yeah.
Yes, technically water damage. Also can't find them at the bottom of the ocean, but probably water damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not a good look. I hope that it gets resolved. I hope that it's just like, COVID delays or something, and there's a bunch sitting in a warehouse somewhere in customs that just didn't get here on time, and eventually stuff's, I don't know. Who knows?
Could be a combination of all of that.
Yeah, it could be all the above. International shipping right now is totally effed. So it could be something like that, and they wanted to still, they had enough in the US that they wanted to stick to the original release date. Who knows? Not a lot of real in-person games going on right now anyway, but bottom line is if you wanted ARC Troopers and BX Droids on the release date, there was a chance you didn't get them, and that kind of sucks.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned it's their original release date, because I actually think they were slated for July. So I wonder if they pushed it back to August, hoping something would happen, and it didn't.
And it didn't, yeah.
And they just stuck with it. I mean, my only advice out there is to kind of like, I know that there's been a lot of people on Discord and a lot of people on Facebook like looking for answers or just like speaking their mind. And I'm not saying that they don't have the right to do that, but I have a feeling that they're looking for an answer that they're not going to get. And what I mean by that is we're just never going to know what happened to these things, most likely.
Kyle just told you they fell into the ocean.
All right, well, sources say they fell into the ocean and we're going to roll with it. But what I mean by that is I don't think we're going to get that information straight from FFG at any point or Asmodee. And I think if you lower the expectations of getting the actual answer, maybe you'll come to terms with it. It still sucks because I know a lot of people are not going to get what they want, and who knows when they will. But I think sitting there and stewing about it is not going to help the cause either,
And please don't go sell yours on eBay for $150 or something crazy like that. I mean, I guess if you want, but I don't know. Was it like an ATRT that went for like $150 or something like that recently?
That's what somebody told me. They got the Republic RT early. And
that's early, so that's a little bit of a different story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Do you ever wonder if there's like somewhere in the ocean a reef made of like miniatures and shipping containers?
I've heard like apparently it's not that uncommon for that to happen. I mean, it's not like super common, but it happens occasionally.
Oh yeah. I mean, I know for a fact there's E-wings and K-wings at the bottom of the ocean. That happened with X-wing, and I'm certainly happened with that shipping you mentioned with was it Chile, right? I think it was Chile that lost their stuff. I forget.
Don't worry, a couple million years from now, like an E-wing looking creature is just going to come out of the sea, and nobody's going to know where it came from. And
or there's going to be some scuba divers looking for some kind of like lost Spanish gold ship, and they're going to be like, ARC Troopers.
Well, now I'm wondering how hard plastic actually holds up in salt water, like submerged in water now.
I mean, plastic survives a lot.
I know.
Generally.
Kind of wild when you think about it.
The boxes would definitely be shredded very quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those would go like really fast.
Yeah, so that's that. You guys get any hobby stuff done?
Housekeeping?
Not a whole lot. Well, actually, no. I guess I have something to celebrate. I forgot that this happened between the last time we talked. I actually did my first successful prime in Florida humidity, so I've passed a milestone.
Nice.
I guess that's a hobby milestone. I've lived in California like most of my life, so it was like perfect for priming unless it was like really hot outside or dry. But now I have the opposite problem, right? Because I'm in Florida, it's hot, but it's also wet. and I managed to get something done, and I'm kind of happy that it wasn't an obstacle, and I'm still able to use my rattle cans. But I primed like 7 heroes, and I have a vital assets now, so I have a lot of work ahead of me in the coming month.
Nice. I feel like Florida, you can probably prime outside like what, maybe a month every year.
Yeah, like March, I think, is the lowest humidity month out of the year. Otherwise, you have to find some different solution. Like the relative humidity, like the lowest I think it gets at this time of year is like 60%, which is fine for rattle canning, but it's still kind of risky.
Yeah.
Airbrush with a moisture trap.
Yep, exactly. I'm hoping that my somehow finagle a airbrush for my birthday, which is coming up later this month, but we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I mean, turned out it wasn't so bad. You just have to bear with the paint smell when you bring them into the air conditioning.
Yeah, make sure if you do get an airbrush, make sure that compressor has a moisture trap on it for Florida.
Yeah.
Florida's a whole different beast.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty swamp. Like DC was built on a swamp. It's not great here either, but it's no Florida.
Yeah, I mean, Florida, the temperature is like really static, and the humidity is extremely high. It's like 90% most of the time.
That's awesome. Every time you step out of your house, you just are immediately drenched in sweat. It's
Yeah.
Best feeling ever.
Yeah, I don't think I would have survived long down here without air conditioning.
Oh, thank God I took that shower before I stepped outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Well,
From the shower to the sauna.
I have started assembling my BX droids, which I was lucky to get.
Does that guy have a bipod?
Yeah, so there we go. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, it's sweet. It's like that is a hefty looking sniper rifle.
Yeah, it is. Well, it shoots 2 reds, so it better be.
But no high velocity.
No high velocity.
Doesn't
Man.
More
have
critical.
Pierce either.
Yeah,
What
and they
has
don't get free aim tokens to power lethal. So
Nobody
goodness.
gets free aim tokens. That would be crazy.
yeah, yeah. So people have asked like, how are you going to build your BX droids? Because there's so many different ways. Here, let me just hold up one of these sprues here. These are the sprues. There's a million options. There's like, let's see. There's 4 shields in here.
Do
There's
you
like
have
3 or
to
4.
build them with the shields?
No.
Okay.
You can, I mean, I think there's like 7 bodies in here. You can build all 7 of them without using any shields, I think.
Are you not going to build yours with shields, Mike?
This is going to be unpopular, but I'm not a huge fan of the shields.
Oh, this is so unpopular. I'm going to let Kyle
Oh.
finish, but I might have to rehash that. That is
Those look
insane.
good.
I haven't decided. So I'm an old school minis painter. I'm kind of with Mike on this. Like the first time that I experienced this, they did this. GW did this back with Necron Warriors, like 20 years ago. Whenever Necrons first came out, it was like all the rage. They had these glow sticks basically, but it was like plastic green little rods that you would like put in their guns.
Yeah.
I found myself wanting to paint them anyway. I think it just kind of looks tacky. I don't know. Like the shields are cool, but I don't know. I feel like if I put them on, I'm gonna want to just paint them anyway in some kind of shimmery pattern.
I've had a lot of issues with this sort of thing. My first 40k faction was Eldar. And all of the Eldar vehicles have see-through canopies. So you like paint the dude, put him inside, and then like glue the see-through canopy over the top. I had a lot of issues with it. I mean, clearly you could probably just paint over the canopy if you wanted to, I suppose. But I don't know. I think it's cool. It's not for me.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same camp. People love it, so it seems like, you know, and you can always paint over it if you want, if you don't like it. So, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna put them together, and I'm gonna see I'm going to paint them without the insert in there, and then I'm going to put the insert in there, and then I'm going to see how it looks. And if I'm not happy with it, then I'm probably going to paint them.
It's kind of wild. I think my favorite model is the guy that you can put the gun through the like it looks like the gun's poking through the shield, right?
Yeah, it's actually like inside the shield. There's like a little hole in the shield where the gun.
That is like my favorite model. You guys are like bringing me down right now.
That wowed me when I first saw it, and I was like, why wouldn't we do that?
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, there they are. There it is, right there on camera.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I don't think Kyle realizes he's on mute.
He is on mute.
Oh yeah, sorry. I don't know if you can see that through with the camera, but there's literally a little hole in it. It looks like perfectly shaped for an E11 or E5, whatever there.
Yeah, whatever gun they use. I don't know what the number is.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way. If somebody else was putting together my models and painting them all, I think I'd be okay with it. To me, it's kind of a hassle to like put the model together. So I'm somebody that, again, probably unpopular opinion, I put my models pretty much completely together before I paint them. Which means that in order to paint the gun, I'm going to have to be like super careful not to like get it on the shield. I don't know. Or I'm going to have to like do something dramatically different than what I would normally do. So I don't know.
So I guess my question to you is, have you put together your arcs?
I haven't opened any of the boxes yet.
Okay. I put them together, and I think that if you glue Echo like in one piece, you are not going to get his handprint on his chest. If I'm just being straight up with you.
Handprint on his chest.
So Echo has the handprint on his right piece of his body armor, and the way that his model's set up, he's kneeling and he holds a sniper. And when I say that, I mean maybe it's just me and I'm not used to this, but when the gun is so close to his chest, I just don't know how anyone's going to be able to get the handprint on his chest plate.
Well, I'm not going to put the handprint on his chest plate.
Well, you know what? We're going to fight all night, Mike.
It's not Echo.
Well, I don't care about that really. Like I just, don't get me wrong, I like to do characters and stuff, but I also like to paint my characters so that they're like mine. Like I am not a huge fan of Games Workshop, but the thing I love the most about their games is that their characters in their packs are like your own. You get to like make them what you want. Like I would much rather have a customizable clone commander that like I can like give upgrades to and give him like a battle axe or whatever, and then like name him and give him some special abilities, and like that's the dude that I painted. That's like I don't really care for holding to other people's creative works when it comes to modeling.
To be fair, I didn't paint my clones in any canonical color. I picked like an army color and I stuck to it. But what I'm doing is, and I wish I had 5s down here. I started 5s. It's a super work in progress, okay? Because I only got to paint like an hour the other night. I got all set up, thought I was going to do fine. No, both kids were like, no, you're not painting tonight. So, but my point is 5s and Echo are part of the 501st, if I'm not mistaken. And they have like the same shade of blue with a different shade of blue similar to Rex. So they have 2 different blues. One is similar to Rex and one's like a darker tone, or like not like a darker, but more of like a subtle blue. It's not as bright. So what I'm doing is I'm using a different green. I use green on my clones. I'm using a different green and I'm just painting them in the army color. So they're still mine and they tell my story rather than me telling the Star Wars story. But I still want to put the handprint on it because it's Echo.
No, I totally get you, Zach. I totally get it. So what's your plan? Are you going to like do sub-assembly and just like, because I don't know how because like on these FFG models, what I found is like, you'll have like a lower arm and an upper arm, and it's like a little peg almost, and then the gun and the arm, the trigger finger arm, will be in one piece. And is that how that is on these?
Yes. So not on all of them, but on the snipers and Echo it is. And So what I'm gonna do is I'll glue the arms to the sniper rifle, but I won't glue the arms to Echo. And I understand what I'll do is I'll paint Echo's torso, and I won't do anything with his shoulders because obviously we know plastic glue will like shred whatever I paint. So I'm gonna try and do it as best as I can. It's mainly I need to be able to get that handprint on there and like his chest done before I put the sniper rifle in a position that I don't feel comfortable. I can paint the gun like Mike's saying. Like I'm comfortable painting the gun. I'd be comfortable painting his chest plate white or even green. It's the details of the handprint. I just don't know how you can do it when he's assembled.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I'm an amateur at this, so somebody's probably really good at doing that, and that's fine. For me, this is how I have to do it. I was always a dry fit painter before the hard plastic sprues, anyways. Hard plastic changes it because, we allude to, the plastic glue will literally melt what you've done, and you're kind of messing up what you did.
I mean, you could just do that one piece with super glue. Like
that's another option. Yeah, that's another option. Like if I just super glue Echo, it's fine. Like the DC-15X sniper, I glued. I don't care. I can figure him out. But Echo's handprint was important. Well, not like super important to me, but I wanted to do it. Like I think
dude, it sounds important to you. Like
it sounds pretty darn important.
You know what it is? It's. I've picked up a couple different techniques lately, and I want to test it out. And I want to see if I can do that handprint and see how it comes out. And I want to do it I want to straight up freehand it. I don't want to draw it with a pencil and then paint over it or something like that. I want to see if I can freehand it. Like I'm trying to freehand Fives' helmet, not head, because I can't paint faces. Speaking of that, I picked another Padme up. But anyways, I'm going on a rant about it. So Echo's handprint. Mike's not going to do it. I'm going to do it. It's all good.
Well, hang on. You picked another Padme up. Are you going to put her, are you going to put the actual Padme head with face on there?
I'm going to attempt a second Padme. I'm going to try and make sure I don't rip off her head in anger this time. I'll just make sure that I go even thinner with my paints than I normally do, which is usually super thin as it is, which you need to do on faces as it is, because you want to be able to layer it up and make sure that if you mess it up, you don't have to cut her head off. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this one goes.
Yeah, just as a maybe you could find a helmet or something, helmeted head to put on.
I tried that. It didn't look right. I have a ton of extra clone helmets. I put it on the model, and I'm just like, this doesn't look right. It just doesn't look right.
I have my base coated one here in front of me, and it's super basic, right? It's just a few colors. I think her face looks like Natalie Portman from 3 feet. Easy.
It's fine. Yeah, I mean, I think you don't beat yourself up over it. I think, Zach.
I think the fix to this is actually to use Sabine or Aiden's head. If you put either of the helmeted versions on.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, I can see that, because
then it would be the correct size.
Yeah,
correct
size and gender.
My issue.
Well, that's why it's the correct size.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's my issue with Padme, and I know that it looks like Natalie Portman from a table's distance, right? I just feel like and I've mentioned this in the last time that I mentioned when I cut off Padme's head. Her face is kind of full, and the curvatures aren't there for me to understand how to highlight the way I want them to happen. And I go to highlight it, it doesn't look good. And then another layer and another layer. And I'm just well, now it's just ruined.
I don't know. I don't see any resemblance to Natalie Portman.
Could just be.
But that's just me.
3 feet, guys. 3 feet. Come on.
I'm just giggling when you say that this is the last time I chopped off Padme's head.
Yeah, we got to soundbite that one.
Yeah, for real.
So getting back real quick to the shield things as a practical matter, if you're out there and you're putting these things on, please do not do the shields first. Do them absolutely last after you've already done painted everything. A, you clearly can't spray paint while they're on there, but B, if you mess up and just get a little bit of paint on one of these plastic pieces, like that's it, you're screwed. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
over.
Don't even take these out of the box until your dudes are like fully painted. Would be my piece of advice.
Are you just gonna do them all the same scheme with different shoulders, or are you gonna do different schemes?
I haven't figured out how I'm going to do squad markings yet with the BX droids. They have, like canonically the standard scheme is like that gray and gold thing. I'll probably just take a couple of the areas where there's normally those like gold highlights and do some other color in a way that's obvious enough. I haven't really thought that far ahead, but I'm going to do 3 sniper models, 3 SAB models, 3 shield models, and then the rest like normal dudes, basically. And I might put a couple of swords on the cool thing about the swords is they have them, they have both hands with swords, and then they also have like just random like spare swords that you can use, which clearly you could cut the hilt out of that and have like, a guy holding it in his hand if you wanted to. That would be pretty easy, but you can also just glue it straight onto their back and then just have a dude with an E5 and then like a sword hilt on his back, which looks pretty cool. So, Legion isn't technically WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get, with the exception of heavy weapons models. So like if a random dude has a sword on its back and you didn't give him vibro swords, that's legal. It's fine. So yeah, but I'll probably have just a handful of sword dudes. So if I do that, I can just kind of mix them into the unit when I field the unit with swords.
Do you think you could like convert one to be dual wielding?
Oh yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
In fact, I think, that would not be hard at all. You could totally have a guy with dual swords. Just looking at these sprues. So
it's so great that like now we're in this phase of the game where it's like hard plastic and we can make conversions and we're just like the creativity, we're just gonna be off the charts going forward.
Yeah, in fact, there are arms with swords in them, and there is both a left arm and a right arm that have a sword in them. So you wouldn't even have to like do the hilt chop thing. Yeah, I like that hard plastic just period is so much easier to convert. These kits are a little more customizable. They're getting more customizable. I will say I have one beef with this sprue, since I have it right here, that I will briefly take, is except for the running model, the legs and torso are all one piece.
I see.
So it's actually like a little bit of a minor step back from the posability of the B1s, where the legs were separate pieces. So you could kind of like, arrange them in different ways.
You're going to have way less of these though. So
yeah, it's not as big of a deal because you're going to have like, just a handful of them. You're not worried about making 50 different poses, and it'll be fine. But yeah, that would be my one small, ever so slight gripe. Otherwise, the kits are great. There's lots of the arms are actually multiple pieces, some of them. So you can, make different arm poses and holding different weapons and stuff pretty easily. So
I will say the arcs aren't as customizable. I feel like they're actually kind of hard to mod. Because the way they glue is their arms have to go under their right at their shoulders, and it only fits a certain way. So I'm kind of jealous of the options you're getting with the BXs.
Yeah, I'd heard that about the arcs. That's a little unfortunate. And also like some of them are clearly jumping and some of them are clearly not jumping, and you can't like if you want to do full all 7 guys in the air, you can't do that, right?
I'm just going to mix and match sets. Okay. And see what I can do, and try and figure it out. I'm figuring I'm going to do the flight stands like dead last, like the shields, and just go from there. For me, I paint a uniform army and then I paint the base, so I have a little more flexibility when it comes to figuring out what's going into what unit. But yeah, it's definitely not as customizable.
Well, maybe we'll see. That's a little unfortunate. Maybe I wonder if we'll see more of that, or we'll see more like the B1s going forward. Because the B1s had like ball joints and stuff, which was great for posing.
Speaking of like customization and posability, Kyle, you actually posted a blog. We actually have a new feature right on the Fifth Trooper blog that you published today.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so there's this dude. His name is Radic. but he actually wrote this article. It's a guest article, but essentially, like, he put an incredible amount of work into his Imperial army. The paint standard is incredible for starters, but he also basically set a goal of having no single model being the same, which is quite a stretch goal when you're talking about an Empire army with core set stormtroopers in it. You know, the monopose core set stormtroopers. So he actually modded essentially every single model in his army. It's super impressive. I would encourage folks to go check it out at thefifthtrooper.com/blog. It's called Radek's Imperial Army. Radek Kurkowski is the guy's name, but he did an incredible job. The painting standard is amazing. He's got like these crazy weathering on not only the vehicles but also on the troops, and he's got like a speeder bike with Baby Yoda in a sack in the back of it that he made, like he hand sculpted from green stuff, basically.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's got like one of the Death Troopers has the little Stormtrooper doll from like Jin's Stormtrooper doll from the opening scene of Rogue One in its hand.
The wooden one.
Yeah, it's just an incredible level of detail. So go check that out.
Yeah, like all the Death Trooper helmets have like green OSL. Like it's amazing.
It's ridiculous. Like every single model has some kind of like crazy blending, and it's so worth checking out.
It's one of those armies where you look at and you're like, how the F did you get your white so smooth? How did you do that?
Yeah, he did like an ISB uniform, and it just looks incredibly good.
Yeah, I think someone commented on the plug on the FFG forums. They're like, because I put the photo of the ATST as like the header photo. They're like, man, I thought it was bold to lead with like what was clearly like the best paint job, you know, right at the head of the article, and then I realized the entire army was like that.
I don't even think it's the best. I think the more you look at it, there's like these little details, and that's like speaks to the level of artistry that Radek is doing.
Yeah, it's impressive. So go check it out.
I hope that inspires people.
Yeah, for sure. You know, that even with monopose models with enough effort and skill and green stuff, you can make them not monopose.
Yeah, Fifth Trooper blog. Check it out.
Yep, check it out. All right. Should we launch into our main thing here?
Our main thing? What's
our
that?
Main thing.
Yeah, we don't have a drop for this. I don't know. I guess we could do.
I can.
What's the main thing drop?
Okay.
The main thing.
The main thing. I don't know. We got to come up with a catchy name for this campaign that we're doing here. If I guess listeners, if you have an idea, let us know. But yeah, you want to take it away, Mike, and tell us what we're doing.
Yeah, so this is the Star Wars Rebellion board. For those of you that do not own or have not seen this game, this is a Fantasy Flight games product. It's a sweet board game, highly recommend. But we are using this map so that we can run a Star Wars Legion campaign. And so the idea here is that each of the planets has a loyalty marker denoting who owns it. And there's a bunch of different planets that like nobody cares about, like Yavin and Dathomir and Dantooine and Ilum.
No one cares about Yavin.
I mean, it's not like people don't live there, right? Like,
that's true. That's true.
You know, like it's not like in terms of the populations is subjugated or not subjugated. There's no population to subjugate, right?
Gotcha.
So the idea here is that we have split the galaxy into two separate halves. The Rebels have 12 planets. The Imperials have 12 planets. The Rebels have some outliers over here like Bespin and Ryloth. I tried to make it kind of thematic in that regard. Those are like clearly like Rebel aligned places we see in the movies and shows. So I figured we'll give them those. Yeah, so basically what we're going to do is that each one of these infantry models on the game board is an 800-point army. And every turn, one team's going to be the attacker, one team's going to be the defender, and the attacker gets to essentially initiate a combat in a place of their choosing. And and we're gonna fight over it. And so the restrictions here are going to be a little bit weirder than they might normally be for army building in your normal event. So let's, for a second, assume that this rebel trooper here moves over to Malastare, and Han and Chewie come with him. So this is an 800-point army versus an 800-point army. We've decided that the defender will always be blue player to kind of simulate defender's advantage, because that's generally what blue player is. And the restrictions on list building is going to be that you only can include heroes that are in that space. So in this case, the Imperial player has to be led by an Imperial officer, because there's no Darth Vader there, there's no General Veers there, and the rebels can have a rebel officer, Han, and or Chewie if they want. And so the objective we've decided is that the first 18 planets wins. We'll see. That might be turn into a super long campaign if we keep on going like back and forth. So we'll see how that holds. But yeah, we've got a couple proxy models or proxies in here at the moment. So all the named characters are in here. We've got Jin, Luke, Cassian, all starting on Yavin. Chirrut is actually going to be Sabine, and she's starting on Mandalore. We've got Leia starting on Alderaan, Han and Chewie starting on Kashyyyk. We've got Boba Fett and Jabba, otherwise known as Bossk the Hutt, starting on Tatooine. Darth Vader is gonna hang out at Mustafar in his castle at the beginning of the game. General Veers and Director Krennic are gonna start on Corellia, and Emperor Palpatine, along with his buddy Iden Versio, who's being played by Soontir Fel, because they're both TIE pilots, are gonna start on Coruscant. And we're just going to slug it out. Basically, each turn, the attacker is going to move 3 pieces on the board, whether they are heroes or army units, up to 1 space. Then the defender is going to do the same, and then the attacker is going to pick a location where they both are, and they're going to fight. I think the only other special rule that we've talked about is that if our boy Luke Skywalker makes it all the way over to Dagobah, he's gonna turn into Jedi Luke, because Yoda and stuff.
I feel like maybe Luke should start on Hoth, just for thematic reasons.
I don't know. Darth Vader can just walk over and cut him in half. I mean,
well, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, not to like tell you what our strategy is, because for those of you that don't know, we rolled some dice earlier to see who was going to be teammates, and Kyle and I got Rebels, and David and Mike are going to be Imperials. And clearly, Kyle, right now on the cast live, I'm telling you that we are moving Luke every single chance that we get towards Dagobah. Whether he has to get engaged in a battle or not, I don't care. I don't care what you do. You move him towards that space. We want operative Luke.
Well, I assume we would still have to pay the actual operative Luke points for operative Luke.
Yes. So it's not like they're in the space and you get them for free. It's like they're in the space. They're eligible to be taken in your army.
Yeah, I see how it is. Luke's all the way over here. No Imperial planets near him. That's cool.
It's funny. What's funny, Kyle, is I think Mike put together this map after he found out what the factions were and what the teams were, and somehow Luke is just so far away.
I actually think Rebels are pretty advantaged based on the current setup, just because they've got so many units towards the front. But we'll see how that plays out.
Palpatine likes to be blue.
Yeah, he does. There's definitely some Imperial worlds, though, where there's just like one Stormtrooper on them and no heroes nearby. So.
It wouldn't be too hard to knock them over.
My hope there was that would feel a little thematic, and that, Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine can only be in so many places, right?
Yeah. So for the moves, is it like if you move a character by themselves, does that initiate a battle?
It does not. So basically, You do your moves, then we do our moves, and then you pick a place where we both are, and we fight.
And for a fight to happen, is a character sufficient, or do you have to have like a character and an army dude?
You have to. The only requirement is that we both have army dudes there.
Okay, so like if I move Han to Malastare by himself, that's not like an eligible place to attack.
Correct. I thought about like introducing like capture mechanics if like they're like by themselves and stuff, but we can do more stuff like that later on if we want. But for now, yeah, you just move a dude, and then you probably move the hero that goes with them, and then you can move something else. Try to keep it kind of simple for our first go around here. So, David, are you ready to beat the crap out of these guys?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Here we go.
So, Rebel players, are you guys ready to make your moves? Have you talked in secret enough? Do you know what you're going to do?
We have not talked in secret at all.
Mike and I are super coordinated. You guys are toast.
Yep, it's over.
This is how the Rebel Alliance goes. We're a hodgepodge. We just put together and we just do things. Like, you know?
We paid 40 points for HQ uplink.
I mean, it's very clear we're moving Luke Skywalker no matter what.
Yeah, obviously. And probably should take Cassian with him just for posterity.
Posterity.
But I actually feel like we should be going towards Imperial worlds in general.
No, I agree.
As awesome as Jedi Luke is, Commander Luke's pretty good still too. And I feel like if we're not murdering stormtroopers, we're kind of wasting moves, personally.
I mean, you know what's really looking good to me is that Sabine, Mandalore, Ord Mantell area, and just kind of like you can even like also like kind of move towards Megiddo and like just try and make this entire, I don't know which way Mike's looking at, but the entire left side of the board would be like kind of rebel owned if we could.
Yeah, you just got to be careful that you don't draw Palpatine's attention there. I don't know. I mean, you could do like Leia, Sabine, and a dude to Ord Mantell, right?
Ooh.
Do a Leia Sabine list.
I like that.
That'd be 3 moves. Could do Han, Chewie, and a dude to Malastare, and just have like Han, Chewie versus a generic Imperial officer by themselves.
So this is how Mike decided to get Han Solo competitive. Is he playing against Imperials, no characters?
There you go.
Bear in mind that if you go to like Ord Mantell, in response we could like move Palpatine, right?
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think that'd be okay though. Leia Sabine versus Palpatine. I don't know.
That'd be an even fight. Yeah.
And then he brings Iden along, and you're just like, all right, what do we do now?
I don't know. Palpatine Iden's a pretty hard list to make.
Yeah, you don't get much of an army after like 400 points of that.
You still got to pay the points for the characters. I don't know. So I'd vote either Leia Sabine and a dude to Ord Mantell, or get Luke, Cassian up in somewhere useful. I guess. I don't know. They're kind of far from Imperial planets.
Yeah. I mean, considering you and I are both like big on the Luke Cassian train, I do think we kind of need to move them. Ironically, I know we really want to get Luke to Dagobah, but I'm also tempted to
That's not going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of tempted to move them to Dathomir and get them closer to Ord Mantell and Megiddo. And if Palpatine wanted to come left, you know, like Luke's there.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do Luke, Cassian, and a dude to Dathomir. And
we're not going to fight? You guys are going to give up your turn 1 attack?
This is a positioning situation here.
Oh, jeez. All right. Okay.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I can decently play Leia Sabine too. Like,
I mean,
we can easily just roll with that until...
You guys can move Luke and Cassian to Dathomir, and then like just move a dude from Alderaan to Ord Mantell, and we can like
I was going to
Fighter
suggest
heroes.
we move Luke and Cassian to Dathomir and then take the trooper from Dathomir, put it onto Megiddo, and have a Rebel officer, Imperial officer battle.
Yeah,
That would be really fun, actually.
that would.
Yeah, let's do that so we don't have not have a battle in the first round. That would be boring.
We're trying to like set this up to facilitate battles, and they're like, you know what we're gonna do? Round one, we're not gonna fight anybody.
Repositioning.
There's nothing that doesn't say we couldn't move. Right, we take our turn and we could put like Bosk on Bothawai. But it's
Right.
pretty clear that our bounty hunters are in a position to absolutely terrorize the Outer Rim.
Yeah,
To be
man.
fair,
That's what bounty hunters do.
To be fair, that exact scenario that just came up is the epitome of how Kyle and I play Star Wars Legion.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
say.
We are
you know.
defensive-minded people we're defensive-minded players that would rather play defensively than make an attack. So that played right into our cards.
Move dodge, first turn, move
Yeah,
dodge.
move dodge. We move behind line of sight blocking terrain, hit a standby.
I prefer move shoot with T21B myself, but
I think we should move a dude from Mandalore, though, just so that there's somebody
makes sense.
with Luke and Cassian.
That makes sense.
Or we could even just move Luke and then move Sabine and a dude to Mandalore and do Sabine Imperial Officer versus a generic Empire dude.
That makes sense to me too.
Let's do that.
All right. We're setting in stone. I'll do
go
it.
ahead.
Luke, moving to Dathomir. We'll move Sabine.
Oh, Luke fell down. He's dead.
Sabine over to. Wait, do you want to go to Megiddo or Mental?
You're muted, Kyle. God.
God,
Actually, it
My
might
bad.
make a lot of sense. It might make a lot of sense to go Megiddo.
Yeah, let's do Megiddo.
that's
then
Sabine to Megiddo.
Man, look at me. I'm just like moving everything over here.
Yeah, and then move a dude from Mandalore. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So ordered.
All right. So, David, how are we going to deal with this?
Well, I mean, obviously we got to fight them, but let's see. Well, if they want to move heroes away from the bounty hunters, like I don't think it's time to bring Palp out yet. I really think the bounty hunters should get a move on and punish them for moving away from the Outer Rim.
Okay.
That's my feeling. So I think a Bosk or Boba to Bothawai would be pretty simple.
Yeah, I agree.
And then I don't know if capturing Ryloth is worth it necessarily because it's so out of the way.
It is. It's one extra planet towards winning, but we can always like grab it later, right?
Right. It makes more sense to punish the cluster like Bothawai and Nal Hutta, Toydaria. Like I think punishing this is smart. It might draw Han and Chewie's attention, but I mean that's thematic, right?
Well, then they just have Leia on the front lines. And,
Yeah, exactly.
Or all by herself.
Yep.
She can dig it. She can handle it.
Yeah. I mean Leia versus Iden would be a pretty nasty game.
It would be. Okay, do you want to send Boba or Bosk?
Why don't we send in Boba because he doesn't get enough playtime.
All right. We'll send it.
Boba, one army, and then we have a third move, right?
Do we want to like spread our other characters out at all?
I don't know. What do you think?
Part of me like wants Vader to get closer to the fight.
Same.
But I'm like, should we just have him crush Bespin first?
I mean, yeah. I mean, because we only get 3 moves, right? So we can put him on Bespin, but we can't initiate a fight.
Yeah. Why don't let's send him to Bespin.
Yeah, he'll go make a deal with Han that'll keep the Empire out of here forever.
Yeah.
Lando.
Sorry, Lando, not Han. Gosh,
Yeah.
They're like the same person.
That was part of the deal.
that's true. That's true.
He actually was the deal.
Yeah, he was the deal exactly, and Luke, to be fair.
Yeah, right.
All right, so those are our moves. You guys could actually declare a fight either on Bothawi or Magito right now.
Let's do Magito.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
so our first battle will be on Magito with you guys potentially having Sabine, and we're gonna have a generic officer holding down the Imperial fort. Oh boy. Uh-oh.
I mean, it is going to be Sabine and a generic officer.
Yeah, totally.
A generic officer.
Yeah, that's true because she has to take one.
You're going to have to put covert observation in your command hand.
Right.
I was already thinking of that. That's so funny.
Let's get those E-webs for pin down.
Hey,
Or no, a tank would be cool. A tank would actually be pretty neat with officer and binocs.
It's gonna be interesting to see these lists actually.
Yeah,
I think the rebel officer generic lists are going to be worse than the imperial ones. Personally.
Yo, let's take an ATS too.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey, you guys aren't supposed to tell us.
No, we're not going to tell you.
Maybe
All right.
maybe we're faking you out. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe we're faking you out.
Yeah. We'll just take a bunch of ion guns. It shows you.
I'm not even sure ion guns are good when your opponent does show up with armor.
Yeah, well,
That's a whole nother bag of worms.
yeah, a whole other kettle of fish.
Yeah, there you go. Kettle of fish. All right, so let's. So we will basically do this fight at some point over the course of the next week.
Yep.
And we'll probably figure out a way to stream it. Is that right?
We're probably maybe we stream it. Almost definitely we'll record it and upload it to YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah. It will be one of those two things. And of course we'll talk about it on next week's cast. So if you're also just listening audio wise, this is also going to be on our YouTube. So feel free to the map might make more sense if you're looking at it as opposed to us just talking about it. But yeah. So.
And if you guys at home want to try like a similar campaign idea, or if you want to elaborate on it at all, make it fancier, give it a shot, let us know how it goes.
I'm probably gonna like put the rules I put together in like some sort of document and throw it up somewhere on our Patreon or maybe on the blog. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But it's at some point I will publish these very rudimentary rules and just kind of throw them out there. I came up with them today, so.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we were like, oh, why don't we do 2v2? But you can't do 2v2 in the mod. And then we're like, Mike, how about a campaign idea or something like that? Because it's the 100th episode, and here we are. And Mike threw it together, and it's pretty solid considering you just had today to kind of think about it. So
Yeah,
I think it's brilliant.
this is going to be fun.
I mean,
guarantee it.
You're assuming that today is the first time I've ever thought about a Star Wars Legion campaign. Oh my god. You should see the rules I have for a campaign that integrates Imperial Assault, Armada, X-Wing, and Star Wars Legion all on the Rebellion board with like Rebellion-esque cards and heroes and stuff. It's elaborate, and the rules doc is about 30 pages long at the moment and nowhere near being done.
That sounds awesome. I think you could do something really cool with essentially just Armada and Legion.
I think so too. I think I haven't worked on it in like probably half a year or so, and I went back through it today when we started talking about this, and I was like, you know what, I think I can take the Imperial Assault stuff out. So the Imperial Assault and X-Wing stuff were like special mission cards. Like if you play like Retrieve the Death Star plans, you'd play like an Imperial Assault mission or something, as opposed to a Legion game, which doesn't really fit that. I don't know. We're infiltrating the Death Star as a team of like 4 types of scenario. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll play that at some point and let you guys know how it went.
It will never be done. It will never be done. Maybe it'll be done, but it's like that project that you have in like the back workshop that like you're never gonna finish, but it's fun to work on. That's all that is.
Yeah, I got you. Cool. Well, so we're gonna do this campaign thing. Let us know what you think of it. Try it yourself if you want. Let's you want to plug Yavin Base, David?
Yes, absolutely. Let me do that right now. So in case you're not aware, there's a team league going on for Star Wars Legion. It's called the Yavin Base Team League. I run the YouTube channel it's based around. We're in the 4th season. We founded this league a couple of years ago because we wanted to try a new different format. It's been wildly successful. I can't imagine why more people will be suddenly playing online. But we originally tried to recruit like 16 teams, and we ended up with 24. So this thing is huge. If you can include all the alternate players, we've got 144 people playing in this tournament. And so that's going to start September 7th. You can find a lot of information about the league on yavinbase.blog. So all one word, yavinbase, no hyphens or anything, .blog. There's 2 articles there that I encourage you to read. There's also a set of channels in the Legion Discord that you can haunt as well to find out more information about the league and to figure out what's going on. But I'd like to encourage everybody to read those and keep your eyes peeled for announcements both at the website I just told you about, yavinbase.blog, and at Legion Discord, because there's tons of games that are going to happen, and it should be super hype. So I'm hoping that y'all come and watch.
And we are fielding a team. Fifth Trooper is fielding a team.
Damn right we are.
Finally playing again. We
Yeah.
skipped season 3.
So it'll be me, Zach, Mike, Evan, Jay, and Bushman.
And Bushman, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. That's a pretty good team. I think you guys have a good shot. It's so I just want to. I'll say one thing. If you guys ace your group, you get a bye in the first round of single elims. So if you go 4-0, and I think
We don't need buys.
you don't need buys. Yeah, I'm just saying. If you want to play less games, you should 4-0 your pool. That's all I'm saying.
So what you're
Well,
saying
that's
is you
definitely a
shouldn't
plus for me.
4-0 your
Yeah.
pool if you want to play more games.
Yeah, you shouldn't, because what happens is we'll have 12 teams that go into single eliminations, and so the top 4 will get buys,
Gotcha.
and then the bottom 8 will play a play-in game.
Well, our team is basically all Patriots fans, so we're getting a first round bye.
Oh
Right,
man,
Zach? Right?
you had actually, man, I could almost have like a side podcast with you tonight about all the stuff that's coming up about Bill and Brady. But yeah, we know how to win, baby.
Yeah.
I'm actually drinking out of my Patriots cup. So yeah, first round bye. That is how we do it in New England, and we're gonna follow that trend in Yavin base.
All right. I look forward to commentating those games and perhaps judging them as well.
Although I think you say that, and I think Evan and Jay might be Bills fans, which like they only know how to jump through tables.
What you mean is they are fans within our division, which means they're Patriots fans. That's all there is to it. We're the only ones that make the playoffs, so they're the only ones you can root for.
Brutal.
Yeah, I only have a passing understanding of the sport you call hand egg. I mean,
You know what? This makes it even funnier is I'm wearing a cutoff sweatshirt, which is like Belichick. So
Yeah.
I'm channeling Belichick tonight.
you know what? Every time, so I kind of got thrown into the captain's role because Sky was like, "Let's put a team together," but I don't really want to captain, and I'm like, "Oh, I had fun last year doing it." So every time I'm doing captain's duties, I'm gonna sit here at my laptop with my hoodie on, hood up, cut off sleeves, and I'm just gonna Belichick them. Okay.
Yeah, I Belichick, Emperor Palpatine, they're like, the same.
My takeaway here is that you own a cutoff sweatshirt.
He's literally wearing it. Stand up.
Oh, I know.
Stand up, Zach.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Yeah.
I'm just, yeah, I didn't know that was even a thing.
Well, it's a
All
thing
right.
because of Bill Belichick. I feel like I can safely say that.
Okay.
Yes. I walked into Under Armour and they had cutoff sweatshirts, and I was like, you know who likes to wear those? My boy Bill. And I'm buying one. So,
There you go. All right. Well, I think that's going to be it. You guys got any final thoughts?
We're going to beat the crap out of you guys.
We'll see.
Was that towards me and Kyle, or are you having base opponents?
Both.
Both. Yeah. I was gonna say both.
Obviously.
But on a more real note, this is our 100th episode. If you asked me 100 episodes, if I thought that we would be here talking today still, I'm not sure what the answer I would give you is, but it definitely is not. I don't know. This has been a great experience thus far. I'm looking forward to 200.
Yeah. 104th will be 2 years officially.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome.
Pretty epic.
Yeah.
Well, I for one have really enjoyed just talking once a week about you guys with you guys about Legion. So yeah.
And man, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, this is what I think my 13th episode, so I'm a little bit behind you guys.
Yeah.
But the way I describe it to my wife is like it's like going to your friend's house and hanging out with your buddies and just like hanging out with the guys, and that's what that's what Monday nights are all about, right?
Yep, like I get that ritual again.
Yep.
All right. Well, we are the Notorious Scoundrels. I'm Kyle.
I'm Mike.
I'm David.
I'm Zach.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.